everyone, I'm Miss Elizabeth from South Huntington Public Library, and today I'm going to read you some stories about dogs. There are so many good dog books out there, so I had to pick a few of my favorites. I hope you like them as much as I do. Our first book is called Harry the Dirty Dog. It's by Jean Zion, and the pictures are by Margaret Bloy Graham. Harry the Dirty Dog. Harry was a white dog with black spots who liked everything except getting a bath. So one day when he heard the water running in the tub, he took the scrubbing brush and buried it in the backyard. Then he ran away from home. He played where they were fixing the street and got very dirty. He played at the railroad and got even dirtier. He played tag with other dogs and became dirtier still. He slid down a coal chute and got the dirtiest of all. In fact, he changed from a white dog with black spots to a black dog with white spots. Although there were many other things to do, Harry began to wonder if his family thought that he had really run away. He felt tired and hungry too, so without stopping on the way, he ran back home. When Harry got to his house, he crawled through the fence and sat looking at the back door. One of the family looked out and said, "There's a strange dog in the backyard. By the way, has anyone seen Harry?" When Harry heard this, he tried very hard to show them he was Harry. He started to do all his old clever tricks. He flip-flopped and he flop-flipped. He rolled over and played dead. He sang and he danced. He did these tricks over and over again, but everyone shook their heads and said, "Oh no, it couldn't be Harry." Harry gave up and walked slowly toward the gate. Suddenly he stopped. He ran to a corner of the garden and started to dig furiously. Soon he jumped away from the hole, barking short, happy barks. He'd found the scrubbing brush, and carrying it in his mouth, he ran into the house. Up the stairs he dashed with the family following close behind. He jumped into the bathtub and sat up begging with the scrubbing brush in his mouth, a trick he had certainly never done before. "This little doggie wants a bath," cried the little girl, and her father said, Why don't you and your brother give him one?" Harry's bath was the soapiest one he'd ever had. It worked like magic. As soon as the children started to scrub, they began shouting, "Mommy, Daddy, look, look, come quick!" "It's Harry! It's Harry! It's Harry!" they cried. Harry wagged his tail and was very, very happy. His family combed and brushed him lovingly, and he became once again a white dog with black spots. It was wonderful to be home. After dinner, Harry fell asleep in his favorite place, happily dreaming of how much fun it had been getting dirty. He slept so soundly he didn't even feel the scrubbing brush he'd hidden under his pillow. The end. And that was Harry the Dirty Dog. Our next book is called Macduff Moves In. This is by Rosemary Wells and illustrated by Susan Jeffers. Macduff moves in. In the back of a dog catcher's truck sat a little white dog nobody wanted. Thrump went the truck over a bump in the road. The little dog popped out into the night. He tumbled onto the soft earth of a tulip bed. He did not know where he was. He needed something to eat. He needed a warm place to sleep. So he went looking. "Woof!" said the little white dog at the front door of number 6 Pine Road. But the answer from the other side was, "Growl." "Woof," he said on the front steps of number 12 Oak Lane. But someone said, "Hiss," from the woodpile. Strange voices hooted and whistled at him from the trees. Many pairs of eyes winked and blinked at him from the darkness of people's gardens. Rain poured down. It swirled and swept around him. Suddenly the wind came up. It blew the clouds and rain away. And the moon smiled full on the world. Through an open window in the kitchen of number 7 Elm Road wafted the smell of vanilla rice pudding and sausages. "Woof, woof, woof," said the little white dog. Nobody growled at him. Nobody hissed at him. Somebody opened the door and asked him to come in. It was Lucy. "This is Fred," said Lucy. No one had ever asked him to come in. Everyone had always told him to go away. "What does his collar say?" asked Fred. "Animal number 47, City Dog Pound," said Lucy. "He needs help," said Fred. Lucy spooned out a dish of vanilla rice pudding. She sliced sausages on top of it. "He's hungry," she said. After a coconut herbal bath, he looked like a snow cloud. We certainly can't keep him, said Fred. We're much too busy. I guess we'll have to take him to the dog pound, said Lucy, so they brought him into the car. Fred rode up and down and around. You are going in circles, Fred, said Lucy. I don't want to find the dog pound, said Fred. I don't want you to find it, said Lucy. Fred and Lucy brought their new friend home. All he needs is a name, said Fred. They celebrated with hot chocolate. Lucy opened a tin of McDuff's melt-in-your-mouth shortbread biscuits. That's it, said Fred. Woof, woof, said McDuff. The night was nearly gone. The rain clattered and splattered over everything. Lucy and Fred and McDuff fell sound asleep. How happy we are, they said in their dreams. The end. That was McDuff Moves In. And our last book is a silly dog story. This one is called Bark George. It's by Jules Pfeiffer. Bark George. George's mother said, "Bark, George." George went, "Meow." "No, George," said George's mother. "Cats go meow, dogs go arf. Now bark, George." George went, "Quack, quack." "No, George," said George's mother. "Ducks go quack, quack. Dogs go arf. Now bark, George." George went, "Oink." "No, George," said George's mother. "Pigs go oink. Dogs go arf. Now bark, George." George went, "Moo." George's mother took George to the vet. "I'll soon get to the bottom of this," said the vet. "Please bark, George." George went, "Meow." The vet reached deep down inside of George and pulled out a cat. "Bark again, George." George went, "Quack, quack." The vet reached deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a duck. "Bark again, George." George went, "Oink." The vet reached deep, deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a pig. Bark again, George. George went, moo. The vet put on his longest latex glove. Then he reached deep, 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 deep down inside of George. And pulled out a cow. Bark again, George. George went, arf. George's mother was so thrilled that she kissed the vet and the cat and the duck and the pig and the cow. On the way home, she wanted to show George off to everyone on the street. So she said, bark, George. And George went, hello. That was Bark George by Jules Feiffer. All right, keep watching. You'll see how I made my dog craft this week. Bye, everybody.